So we have to talk about Joe.
We have to talk about Joe. So much to discuss.
Okay. I'm so excited. We do this every single time I come into the studio off air is we have some sort of Taylor Swift conversation.
Always.
I need everyone to just, first of all, put some respect on the name for our guest today, because every Real Pod episode you've heard for the past 3 years has gone through the eyes, ears, and magical fingertips of Christiana Morgenroth, who is my partner in crime today as we dissect T Swift.
Let's
the Real
go.
Pod producer, everyone. Bring it together.
Stop it. No, go on. It's fine.
How does it feel to be like on the pod right now? Because usually you're
I'm so excited. I'm so hyped. I don't know. I listen. I love listening. It's a skill I'm working on for sure, but I can talk for days, babe.
Great.
Especially on this subject.
Literally cannot wait. This is the T Swift episode. Dare I say, it's been a long time coming, bud.
I'm honored. I'm honored to be on Real Pod, truly. Thanks for having me.
I'm feeling like we should give everyone like a fan origin story of like why we are obsessed.
Yes,
you
please.
know, the context. I'll let you kick it off.
All right. So many years ago, and you can call me a fake fan if you want, but many years ago, I really wasn't a fan of Taylor Swift. I was just so fascinated by her. And the fascination grew and built. And it really wasn't, I didn't turn on red. I heard all the radio hits, enjoyed, loved, but really wasn't a freak. I have this lifelong condition where my favorite band is Fall Out Boy. So that really is just like, there's nothing I can do about it. It happened when I was a teen. And I didn't expect to feel that same love for Taylor, but I worked as a brand analyst in a different lifetime, a lifetime ago. We were asked to do these presentations and practice giving speeches so that we could stay in the habit of doing client presentations. And one of the ways we did that and trained was we would be allowed to give a speech on whatever we wanted. And in the throes of my Taylor Swift fascination, I don't know if you remember this era, but like 2014, there was this point where Taylor Swift would go in and out of the gym in Soho, New York, and the candids of Taylor Swift were fascinating because she would go in fully head to toe glammed up, wearing heels, and then she would leave the gym fully glammed up, head to toe, heels, lipstick. And like people started to realize, I started to realize because I was looking at all these candidates, I was like, she's not even carrying a gym bag. How's this happening?
Wait, so what was going on at the gym?
I still don't know. All I know is those purses were empty. But I was so mystified by her, and I was like, that's a true icon. You know, I was like, somebody who is able to cultivate mystique. Mystique is so rare.
Well, that's her bread and butter. And we were talking about this the other day because I was thinking, like, as I do randomly throughout my day when I have just my own Taylor Swift discussion with my brain, that we think we have this really close relationship with her, and we do because we have all these inside jokes and she's so revealing and personal in her songs. But like, no one could say her favorite cuisine. No one could say, like, what is she, a morning or nighttime person? What does she have a skincare routine? What is it? Does she like to swim? Like, I will sometimes be in the middle of my day like, I wonder what T Swift is up to right now.
Because Taylor Swift can't swim? Because we wouldn't know.
We have no idea.
She's just at the beach house this whole time, never learned to swim.
Because that's hilarious. Because there is such mystery. Like, we really don't know. Like, there's no Architectural Digest, like, welcome to her house, like, to see the decor. Like, we know the things that she's been so careful to let us know. That's why I think in a way she's not accessible to us.
Right.
But
she feels like a friend.
Yes. Oh my God. And that's the mastery. Another
That's
thing. Okay. I need to share my origin story. But before we get into that, and you're the perfect person for me to talk about this, like, I'm going to say 90% chance she hears this episode.
Oh my God. Stop. No. Stop listening, Taylor.
Because I do know I will not leave this earth. I refuse to let my soul transcend to the heaven. She's going to be on Real Pod.
Yes. We manifested this, I don't know how long ago now, months ago.
I mean,
we're working on it.
This is not the point of the episode, but the freaking dissertation I could give on why if Taylor Swift had to go on a podcast,
it should be
it should be Real Pod.
100%.
But because I think that that's going to happen in my life, she's going to do her research. They're going to see this episode. They're going to listen. So, Taylor, welcome to the show. It is an absolute fucking honor. Yeah, Tree, send me an email. Let's make this bad boy happen. Anyways, the origin story. I remember I was a classic, like, birth of a Swiftie. I mean, heard our song is Lambskin. It was a field trip day, elementary school, and they're listening to our song and they were super into it and I had no idea. I wasn't also super into country, but I just remember listening and loving the lyrics of like love and this dream date and like being a hopeless romantic, and that was kind of super who I was as a young girl. And then Fearless, I mean, just absolutely got my heart in a chokehold. And I went to the Fearless concert and, you know, visuals in my mind still of the heart with the rain coming down. So I was a classic Swiftie. And then I think the way that it maintained throughout all of her evolutions and era transitions is, I don't know how, but I have felt like my life has been in alignment with every single album. From high school to then when I'm in college, and I felt like I was going through shit in my life, and then she came out with Reputation and I was like, these lyrics are speaking to me. And then when she came out with Lover, and the song literally says, I've loved you 3 summers, now I want them all, and I had been with Max for 3 years. I mean, how does that line up?
She grew up with us.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah. That's really, there's something special about that. And I know that she's gone out of her way. I saw this TikTok. She's gone out of her way to make and cultivate and maintain relationships with some fans over the course of several years, which I think is one of the ways that she's able to maintain this connection with her fans, right? Where it's like, okay, I remembered seeing you post a ton on Tumblr. This was somebody who shared this TikTok, somebody who would post about her on Tumblr a lot. Got followed by Taylor Swift on Tumblr like back in 2014, right? And they stayed in touch over the years. So Taylor had selected her for one of her secret sessions, and I think there was like basically a TikTok breakdown of everything that had happened leading up to the Eras tour. And she would occasionally just get like DMs from Taylor Nation, et cetera, being like, hey, we'd like to stay in touch. I think that's one of the things that truly allows her to stay connected to what the experience of being a teenage girl, an adult woman right now is. It's like she has that lifeline. She's got her finger on the pulse because she's really making an effort to stay connected to people as they grow.
Yeah. Something about that, and I don't know if I'll get like roasted alive for saying this, is like I believe I am a huge fan of Taylor Swift. Like I do believe that. Her fan base is so extreme that I almost feel like, I mean, there are people who like live, breathe every social media platform, is like Taylor Swift fan, Taylor Swift, like their whole life is Taylor Swift. Yeah. I mean, I just can't do that with like a career and like my family and everything. So I'm like, sometimes I get discouraged because I'm like, I am as obsessed with you as I believe a healthy person can be obsessed with you.
Yes.
But it's almost like, I do when I think about the secret sessions and those things. I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to get plucked for that because I'm not sleeping in sheets at night that have her face on it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you won't murder her if you attend one of the sessions or try to propose to her.
I'm a safe
already
call.
Married.
Well,
right.
when she did comment and like the explaining Wildest Dreams, and then when she liked another video recently, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm on the radar. I feel like I should be into secret sessions, but I didn't get invited to the Red Secret Sessions, so...
The heartache.
It's okay.
I'm with you though. That's something I have been thinking about, like that line between fandom and full blown obsession. Like similarly in the Fall Out Boy fandom, there are a lot of people who's just like their profile picture is Pete Wentz. Their display name is like on every single platform, every single tweet I see from them. I'm like, I don't think I could live in this. I think there needs to be other things, and that makes you appreciate whatever it is that you're so passionate about more, to have other things in your heart. I think if you put like a strand of her hair in a locket, maybe take it back a little bit. But otherwise, I think you're at the sweet spot because you've cultivated this career and this excellent podcast where you sit down with people from all walks of life, whether they're mega famous, whether they're your best friend, you approach them all with the same dignity, respect, love. If I was Taylor Swift and I wanted to be on a podcast, this is the one I would want to be on, Taylor. So I don't know. And to me, it's a no-brainer.
Another thing
it's
is
like
fandom. I always think about like how I would play it, like because if I did. Okay, of course.
Kicking my legs.
Yeah. No, I feel like if she would ever be able to come on the pod, I think I would have to like, I'd feel like I'd go into a room and have to scream, jump up and down. I have to get everything out of my system to then walk into the interview and be like, Hi, Miss Taylor. Lovely.
I'm Victoria.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I would need to keep like, of course I'd be a fan, but I would need to have like 70% professionalism.
Yes.
Otherwise
100%.
she's not doing the interview.
I'm going to talk about myself for just 1 second and then send it back, because I did have this
talk
experience.
about yourself.
I did have this experience recently where I worked on a Fall Out Boy music video, one of their latest music videos, as a production coordinator. And obviously, as a massive fan, that was, you know, like getting up in the morning being like, ah!
Yeah.
And then you get on set and you're like, oh yeah, they're just these guys. Like, I know a lot about them, and that's a weird imbalance. But other than that, it's like, yeah, of course you could still be professional. Like, I'm excited to come and do my job. I would never want my excitement for an artist to make them feel uncomfortable, right? So it's 100% possible to be a large fan of somebody, a huge fan, whatever, but still understand that your professional capacity exceeds that. And like
Totally.
the fangirls living behind the eyes of the production professional who's excited to create great work with them and for them.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I would just pretend that I don't have a note page in my phone of all the questions that I would ask her for the past 5 years if she would come on the show. I would just be like, oh, I did this last week preparing. To your point, that's the thing, is I will sometimes be like, wait, she's a person?
Right.
Like, I think especially the most that I feel like she gets humanized for me in my brain is just thinking about her parents. Like, her dad taking that cute video of the stadium. Like, her mom is always by her side. Like, her best friend Abigail from home that she's still in touch with. Like, all those things, I'm like, okay, she's a person. But it is so hard for us to even, I think of her that way, because we only see her in this superstar light.
It probably doesn't happen that often, but it does help me to remember that even Taylor Swift has diarrhea sometimes.
No, but like, I refuse to believe that. Like,
listen, she's probably got the cleanest gut on the planet. Don't get me wrong, but like, it's gotta happen at some point, right? Like, everybody in their life has had diarrhea, so I have to assume that to me, I'm like, okay, she is a person. We've all had it,
right?
You know?
We've all, yeah. Like, I think too. Just even thinking about the fact that, does she shave her legs like in the shower? Like, she has to do that. Like, you don't get to a level where like you have someone else in the shower with you shaving your legs. Like, and I just, at least for like, you know, a woman, like just shaving your legs in the shower. Okay, she sleeps at night. She has to eat. She probably, you know, she has a phone. I'm always like, who has her number? My very first question that I would ask Taylor Swift if I had her on the podcast. This is what I want to know.
I'm dying.
There's probably a million better questions than this, but when I really think about, so this is my notes page called Taylor Swift Times Real Pod. It's pretty long, but literally,
whoa, she just scrolled for a long time.
Yeah, because I've got to manifest it, right? Like, if I had her on the show, I'm preparing. Sometimes I'll be driving my car, I'll listen to a song, and I'll think, ooh, I want to ask that. Okay, so this is my first question, legitimately for you, Taylor. I hope you don't think that then this is not a serious show and you shouldn't come on it, but I actually need to know. When did you change your cell phone number so people from high school couldn't just randomly text you happy birthday?
This is, I 100%
Those
want
are the
know
hard-hitting
this.
questions.
Yes, no one has ever asked her this in an interview. This is important.
I need to know. And of course, you know, then we get, you know, we'll get deeper and darker, but that's my first question.
Anything other than what's it like to be a woman in the music industry, for God's sake.
No, Taylor, we would not ask you that.
We would never.
We would never ask you that. Okay, but anyways, getting into kind of our topics for today, we wanted to talk about eras. We wanted to dissect kind of the tour.
Yes.
I mean, where to even start? We have the fits, the set list, the stage dive. Yeah. I want to talk about the choreography for the vigilante shit number. Yeah. Because that is giving me a sexual, powerful, awakening. I just love that. Like, again, she's always on the same wavelength as me.
100%. She's on her sexy journey. She's doing the same thing.
I think so. So, I mean, after you saw the TikToks, the photos, we're only a few weeks into the tour recording this. Like, is it everything that you were thinking it would be?
First impressions is I'm so in awe of the percentage of people attending the Eras show that are dressed up. Truly. That's true community. That's so exciting because that's how you start conversations and become friends with other fans. Like, oh my God, I love your outfit.
You're right. That's like everyone. I mean, if you don't go dressed up in some way, you almost look like an outsider. But now that I think about other concerts, like, people don't dress up in costume.
No, people don't cosplay as the artist. Like, people don't even wear the artist band shirt to most shows. That's like something you don't do. It's bad luck. But yeah, I did notice that. And I love seeing it because to me as an artist, like, yes, the thing you want is for people to connect with your work. But to me, like, the next level, like a self-actualized, like truly formed fan base is one that starts creating its own art, right? That is inspired by an artist to create their own art, not just to like worship the art that's present.
Like when I spent hours making my bejeweled corset for Halloween.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Wait, please. What are you thinking about wearing? Have you thought?
Oh my
Have you thought
gosh.
which era even you're going to?
You know, I have so many different thoughts because, like, I feel like everything is an opportunity to be noticed by her in some way. Yes. Like, you know how the willow tree kind of took over TikTok, and she even said on stage, like, I saw the willow tree. I mean, that is execution at its finest level. That's beautiful. So I don't know. I've been thinking about what I want to do. Fortunately, so I'm not going to August, which feels so painfully far away.
I'm really holding back from singing.
Yeah. What do you mean singing?
Singing the song August by Taylor Swift.
Yeah. No, but I've actually thought about how hard that's gonna fucking go when it's August and she plays August. Like, it is gonna go so hard.
It's gonna whip.
No, literally, I cannot wait. I get so excited. The good thing is that I have time. I think in a perfect world, I would love to do some, like, you know, cue the Lady Gaga, never seen before, so original, never been done before, iconic. Like, I want to think of something like that. So definitely thinking there's going to be some element of craftsmanship, DIYing, like, you know, to make it original. I definitely like, I love a challenge like that. Like when I was making the Halloween costume, like I fucking love stuff like that.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I haven't really brainstormed it because I feel like I have time. So hopefully it doesn't creep up on me. In line with that, because I'm going in August, I've been thinking, do we think she's going to change the set list? Do we think things are going to change? What about the little symbols for the opening acts changing?
100%. Like she does need to change the set list because currently Getaway Car isn't on it. So something to consider. Yeah. It's 44 songs in Getaway Car.
Yeah.
It's not it. But yeah, I was thinking that too because like literally she is doing a set list that is 44 songs, which is the length of a lot of like classic rock band. Like we're talking like The Cure would do a 44 song 3-hour set list. I know that obviously she's put a lot of thought about how this is going to go down, what's going to go into it. So it feels equally possible that she wouldn't change it, but
I kind of hope she doesn't. I know she's rotating the acoustic number.
Right.
I know she's, you know, I think she did change. I saw a DM, like she alternated like one song. She didn't play something from debut at one concert to the other. I think it's little changes. I'm fine with that. I think that keeps everyone special. Like I think she did that even on the rep tour. Like she was doing like a guitar number acoustic and she would always change a song. Right. I think my biggest argument for why I wouldn't want her to change it completely, because I think I'm excited to see the show I'm seeing on TikTok. I want them to come out with those big pedals, and I want her to release for the "It's been a long time." Like I want to see it.
And also, it would take so long, actually. Think of like to fully choreograph outfits for songs that aren't on that list.
That's the other logistical argument.
Yeah.
Like there has been so much choreography, so much planning, the transitions. You cannot just.
Can't just swap one in.
I agree. So I think there's going to be the little tweaks. She's always dropping little Easter eggs at every concert. You know, is she spelling out "Speak Now" TV on the T-shirts? That's something people are speculating. I'm here for that. That's classic Taylor.
Right.
She's not going to do the same thing every night, but I think the heart of the show and the map out is going to be the same. And I think she'll keep updating costumes. I think she's already been doing that a little bit.
Yeah.
Which fine. I'm fine with that. But I definitely hope she's not like adjusting the entire like the core, the base mold of.
For anybody who doesn't want to be spoiled on the set list, you may want to.
No, forget this. Don't listen to this if you don't want a spoiler. We're here for the spoilers.
That's right. So have you then gone through the set list, and how do you feel about the set list?
I've gone through the set list. I don't know it exactly like the back of hand.
I have it in front of me if you have any.
Amazing.
Produced on. Yeah, if you have any questions. But I just have a small bone to pick here, which is opening with Miss Americana and Heartbreak Prince, a song I've listened to maybe 3 times in my career.
Okay, let's fucking fight, Christiana. Let's fight.
Okay,
this is
roll up my sleeves,
this is a good argument. Because you know what? I'll let you go first. I'm cutting you off.
Okay. So this to me kind of ties into something we could break down a little bit later, but like the fact that Taylor Swift maybe isn't always the best at picking singles, which songs should be the single.
Hot take. Back it up.
Listen, okay. All right, I'm just going to go really, really quick here. Lover. Cruel Summer should have been a single. Without promotion, it became a hit. Thank God that is the second song on this set list. Folklore. Cardigan is the only single. August. Betty? No. Ridiculous. Evermore. The fact that we never got the video for No Body, No Crime has me shaking. And Midnights. Karma should have been a single. Not Bejeweled. Sorry. These are the things. These are the ones when I'm saying she doesn't always pick singles in a way that I would. Really.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Not that it has held her success back in any way.
I feel like everyone in the Swiftie community has agreed that like just the whole just everything relating to that.
It's one of my least favorite things.
It's a wash. I think that's a wash. I can't even insult my queen. She's listening. I know she's listening. Like,
I'm not saying
I can only
bad.
sleep at night thinking she's listening. But I feel like everyone in the community just agrees that like Me is just, it's that one thing that we love you unconditionally.
I wouldn't go so far as to say I love it unconditionally.
No.
I would say that I love her body of work unconditionally. I love her and respect her as an artist unconditionally.
That's
and
what
can also have a least favorite song.
That's what I'm saying. It's that kind of thing where you're like, we love you unconditionally. Like,
we love you no matter what.
Yeah.
Even
with me. Even with me. Being the single from Lover. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Shouldn't be. Yeah, Cruel Summer. And I think she recognizes that, or somebody on her team did, because Cruel Summer is the second song on the set list. And I think, to me, I'm like, that would be an incredible opener, but I haven't seen enough love for Miss Americana and Heartbreak Prince to justify opening the Eras tour with it.
Okay.
Wild me.
So that has actually been one of my like hidden gem songs I'm obsessed with. So I have actually listened to Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince so many fucking times. To me, it's like the last great American dynasty off of
which is also
Folklore.
on the set list.
Like that's just, to me, like literally one of the greatest songs she's ever written, and it's so underrated.
Wow. Okay, I would say yes about Last Great American Dynasty. I wouldn't say it about Miss Americana.
I was saying Last Great American Dynasty is one of the best songs I think she's ever written.
Yes.
For Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, I think that song is an absolute bop. I think it's so fire. I think it's just a hidden slay on Lover.
I think the CW energy to me. I love a lot of CW shows.
I think the only reason she opened with it is because of literally because of the line, "It's been a long time coming."
Yeah.
Like, I literally think, like, that, I mean, that, like, for her to go...
She's playing chess.
It's been a long time
checkers.
coming, but... And then it's you and me. Like, I literally think she did it for that singular line, because how iconic that you can pull one line from a song that just encapsulates, like, how long we've been waiting for tour. And then did you see the intro videos where...
I'm just saying, we were both young when I first saw you. Open with that and break my heart.
Okay, I definitely think I hear your argument of when I saw it, it was an acquired taste. It simply grew on me the more I saw the opening act videos.
Yeah.
Because I would not have expected it, but I like have 100% respect for its genius, and I am not mad about it. And the more I think about it, the more I think it is actually so iconic.
Cool.
Is how I feel.
All right, I'm going to rewatch. I'll give it a little time. There are plenty of albums, even not Taylor's, but like that I was like, I don't know about this, and let it grow on me. So
did you hear the audio mixing of the "It's been a long time coming," and then it's like, "My name's Taylor and this is Speak Now," and then she goes like, "It's been a long time coming, big reputation, it's been a long time coming." So she
it goes.
Yeah.
That should go in there. Yeah. If it was, sorry, I was just mixing myself. So my editor brain, my fan edit brain just jumped out.
Basically, she pulled the line, "It's been a long time coming." They slowed it down. She sang it in a different melody, and then they inputted all the 7, like a line from the 7 albums.
Cool.
And then it goes to her being there. "It's been a long time coming," but in the rhythm, "It's you and me." So that's literally why
she had a vision.
I think you take out the beginning of the vision, and she wouldn't have opened with it.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. But we were both young when I first saw you.
Your ideal intro is her going, "We were both young." I feel like that doesn't go as hard.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. No,
yeah, but that's like, that happens at every bar in America. Like, you hear them go, "We were both," and everyone goes, "Ah, I love it." But that's not the opening of the Eras tour.
She does want to innovate, and she does. I think what this set list proved to me is that she wants to do the unexpected. She really didn't want this to because obviously there were so many great TikToks that were anticipating what her medleys would be, her openers, and like with the hairbrush, reenactments. She's like, okay, it can't be any of that. It has to be something they're not expecting.
Right. Which is
I really
like
admire.
Her bread and butter. Yes, I admire that as well. Even like, I mean, kind of parallel, like Rihanna at the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, did anyone think she'd open with "Bitch Better Have My Money"?
No, nobody predicted it.
But when she did it, I was like, wait, this goes so hard. Like,
there was no better choice.
Yeah. So,
yeah, 100%. I'm just gonna say, I do think that the set list has a lot of Lover, and it doesn't have all of my favorites on Lover.
I think, well, the reason I think she starts with Lover and does a lot of Lover is because we got burned on Loverfest. Yeah. So I feel like she was like, I cannot.
She got to give it, right.
She's got to give Lover.
That makes sense.
What is missing from Lover that you like from Lover? Cruel Summer.
False God.
Oh, False God goes hard. False God does go hard. You know what never hit for me? The Archer.
Oh, wow. I actually was super impressed that she put the Archer on. I would never expect it, and it did hit for me.
But she has a live performance of that. Didn't she perform that somewhere?
Yeah.
That's, you know.
I wasn't expecting it, but I do love that she did it. Who could ever leave me, darling, but who could stay? Like, oh my God, slay. Sing that in a stadium.
What are your thoughts on Evermore? All the like Evermore commotion.
Okay, I feel, to go back to the problem with singles, I feel so deeply in my heart that we should have a music video for Nobody No Crime with Haim. It would be so fun. It's a perfect karaoke song.
Yes.
Like
in the same
way,
way,
like Coyote Ugly vibe.
we need a music video for Speak Now.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is like classic Taylor. Like, I want to see you cosplaying the woman marrying him and the interrupting the wedding. I want her to play both, like she did in You Belong With Me.
Oh my God. I'm gonna say I think this setlist is more Evermore heavy than I anticipated. I definitely think that maybe she was responding to some of the criticism that she doesn't show Evermore enough love. And we're like, I'll show
Which
you.
She acknowledged.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should read into some songs.
Yes.
Okay, here's a struggle. I want to read into Right Where You Left Me.
Yep.
I want to read into Maroon. I think we know where that's going.
Yep. Listen, because you know who was following Taylor Swift out of the gym and a lot of those 2014 candidates?
But here's the thing. I fully get it's not fair to speculate or right to speculate on someone's privacy. I get
It's also impossible not to.
Well, that's the thing is I get confused because I think the majority of the other songs are please speculate. These are hidden messages for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, so we're encouraged to decode the messages in all these other songs, but then there's a few that like we're not allowed to. But then there was the Rolling Stones article that that her team probably had to have eyes on and approve because she has such a good relationship with Rolling Stone.
I'm with you.
You know, here's my take. And we have to get into Joe. Oh my God, we have so much to fucking talk about.
We have a lot to discuss.
Okay,
wait. I'm gonna pull up Right Where You Left Me lyrics, and please carry on. But I
mean,
want to pull this
glass
up.
shattered on the white cloth. Everybody moved on. But I'm right where you left. That's such a banger. That's one song I wish she was playing. Can that be the surprise song in August? Tay?
Oh yes.
Tay.
Oh my God.
Friends break up. I mean, that song goes so hard.
God, that one really.
I will just listen to that randomly in my car.
Friends get married. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I think we know.
But you know what really threw us for a curveball? And I think this is the master of Taylor Swift again.
Say it.
The fact that Folklore and Evermore were, hey guys, you can't take these seriously because they could be mythical stories.
Yes.
That
They're
opened up a
characters.
portal of us being like, does that carry through into Midnights? And that's where I feel like with Midnights, she releases Bigger Than the Whole Sky. And like Midnights is not a Folklore Evermore album. And she's been very clear that these are the things that she thinks about in the middle of the night that she
Happened in
deals
her
with.
real life. Yeah.
Yes.
Nights of her life.
She also did throw in like, you know, the language of I want everyone. These are the thought spheres we all have. So she never explicitly said like all these are true. But Anti-Hero she expressed was like so on the nail of her. Like she was like every single word in this, take it as my word.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I get stuck with like some of these other theories of like Folklore did open the portal for you can't take it as it's real to her. Whereas prior to that, she was very straightforward about all the songs she written, like having to do with her life. She was like, I write about my life. I write about my relationships.
Right. But with Folklore and Evermore, she really did. She said it was a good challenge for me as a writer to try and sit in other people's perspectives. But I think great songwriting, great art, you really can't help but have some of what's in your heart leak through. Because if it doesn't, then what are you writing about? You're writing about something you're totally emotionally removed from. There were, songs like Seven or Happiness, where she's writing from the perspective of somebody who's going through a divorce. It's like, yeah, you can also still pull from some of the breakups that you've gone through or the people you've left behind, what have you, in order to get into that perspective. You're not fully starting from scratch, you know?
Totally.
So it does allow her to. I think that Midnights is mostly, if not entirely, autobiographical. But Bigger Than the Whole Sky really does have that little possibility. It's like, maybe you're writing from someone else's perspective.
I mean, I feel like it's just so hard because it's plausible, but it's such a personal thing that you don't want to speculate.
Of course
all
not.
these things. So I don't know. That's the mystery of Miss T Swift. So we have to talk about Joe.
We have to talk about Joe.
Okay, you had the funniest thing you told me about Joe. Was it like a month ago?
I just feel that there are several instances of this, but the most potent is on Midnights, that Taylor Swift writes a lot about how Joe shuts up, and that's what she likes about him. What Taylor Swift likes about Joe is that he doesn't talk.
What makes you think that?
Okay, so Lavender Haze, staring at the ceiling with you. You don't ever say too much.
Wait, that is the fucking line. I've never really thought about it. You don't ever say too much.
No, it could be like, oh, he doesn't talk to the press, and that's what I like about him. He never, but she's saying staring at the ceiling with you when we are alone at night in our bed. You don't ever say too much, you know? You don't really, you kind of let me run the show, which I think he is that person. I think he's comfortable, but specifically there are quite a few lyrics where he just he doesn't talk. This man.
Wait, give me another one.
I'm not going to be able to pull another one out of my butt, but
Yeah.
I do think that she definitely loves that he doesn't, I think probably in comparison to some of her previous exes, doesn't seem to have any thought in his mind to ever share details of their relationship.
That's where I was just going to go with this is I think she is so fucking intelligent that I don't think she could be with someone who doesn't intellectually stimulate her. And the fact that he's helped compose songs with her,
Yes.
he's clearly got creative.
Very intelligent.
And then the way she said that she played Call It What You Want to him on guitar, and that's about him. So I think the thing here is maybe what she loves about him is that he is so off the grid. She knows there's never going to be a day where Joe's I want to be in the spotlight and go do all these interviews.
Yes.
And I think that's probably a huge safety for her. If we think 100%. About the things that have to trigger her in a relationship or with men, to be with a guy who is predictable and is safety and isn't gonna, because all these other guys have really kind of turned on her and not cared to leave her reputation in the dust.
Yes. And also, actually, a friend of mine just put this to me the other day, and I thought it was brilliant. She said, Reputation is Taylor's falling in love with Joe album. Truly, before Lover. Really, front to back. Obviously, she's dealing with all of the stress that it was caused in her, past relationships.
I'm thinking of Delicate.
But New Year's Day. Oh my God. Oh. That's a first dance kind of song to me.
That is such a good song.
Unbelievable.
There's glitter on the floor after the party.
It really is.
Gosh, it's such a good song.
The imagery in that song is so powerful.
And I just love, in Delicate, I think it's, what are the...
For the best.
Yeah, my reputation's never been worse, so you must love me for me. Yeah.
Right? That's the thing where I think her feelings about her reputation and her feelings about Joe are completely intertwined.
You know what's so hard for me?
Joe-putation.
God, what that reputation, whenever someone's reputation, I'm
no.
Listen again.
Stop.
Listen again.
Go back.
It's top 3 albums for me, which also people asked us to rank, but I think that has to be a whole fucking other episode.
No,
we have to come with we have to do that again.
I would need another week of prep to bring all my notes.
But back to this conversation, what's hard for me about someone else's relationship who I don't know is I know I'm not entitled to her life or anything about her. The same way that I feel as a creator on a far smaller scale, how I don't like when people feel entitled to know certain things about me
that you haven't chosen to share.
I do think what's hard for me as a fan is I feel like I was so with you on the debut, the Fearless, the Speak Now, the crying in the rain, the dancing, I was there for you, the hopeless romantic. And it's now you have presumably that love. I just want a little more of it. Yeah. I just want to see you, I just want to know a little more about it. Kind of, yeah. And I know she doesn't owe that to me and it's not my right, but that is the one thing where I'm it would be so nice to have a little bit more physical evidence, not through song, of their love, purely because I just want to be so fucking happy for her.
Yeah. I think the less we hear about the relationship, the happier we will know her to be, Because she is somebody who obviously Reputation was kind of about this. The things that make her truly happy and that she can truly depend on and count on and know, the loyal relationship she have in her life have nothing to do with what is shared publicly. What was the line on Dear Reader? It was something like, the best thing a girl has is her secrets, right? Those are the things that she really treasures. They're for herself and they're not for anyone else. And as somebody who's given so much of herself to the public, and I know you've probably thought all these things through. I'm not explaining anything new to you,
right.
But a lot of times I get nervous sharing my boyfriend on social media because we have such a happy relationship and we're so close and so good together that it feels sometimes like bragging, first of all, because there are lots of folks in my life who don't have that and don't have what we have, right? And I'm sure you feel the same. And also, too, because it's this is just for me. This is so special. This is so sacred. I don't want necessarily the rest of this disgusting world in on it, you know?
You're 1,000% right. And if I was her, I would probably do the exact same thing. I mean, sometimes I just think about her stardom is at such a level. Back to the beginning of the podcast, us talking about how we don't really know these little things about her. It's because she has to, I mean, I don't know what it would be like to live on this earth and legitimately have no privacy, no idea who you can trust. And I don't know.
She carried, I don't know if this is still true, but she carried wound dressings in her purse for a long time because of her very valid fear that a stalker was going to come and kill her or shoot her. And she needed to have something on her at all times to be able to dress a wound. To me, I'm like, there's a Taylor that we really can never conceive of. The kind of 10 different security cameras that you would have in your head at all times when you're constantly being watched. And she holds it with such grace.
Such grace. She's so down to earth. She's such a good person. She's such, like, still close with her parents and her brother. Like, you know.
And with Joe's family, it sounds like,
and with
too.
Joe's family, which I always think about, how does that work? These are like the little things I'm always curious. Like when you go to like Thanksgiving with their family, like do you have to tell them like no one can take photos? Does everyone sign NDAs? Like I'm just so curious. And like she can't just go to dinner, like, and they can't just invite Uncle Bob and Uncle Bob. Like I don't know. Like they just literally, those are the elements that like she has to deal with. That like, you know, I bet she wishes she could just go to Thanksgiving at her boyfriends, fiancés, husbands.
Yes.
We
Do we know?
this.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So
Are they engaged?
I have heard whispers in the industry
Right.
that people very much believe that they're married.
That they are.
That's not my personal belief. I've just heard that from people who believe that.
Right.
But I don't know why.
What do people know? What do people know, really?
What do people know is true? And I don't know, like, do we think that after eras she's gonna get into her bridal era? Does she ever want to be a mom? I mean, I feel like she kind of blew us off the trail with Lavender Haze.
Yes, 100%.
You know, the 1950s shit they want from me. You know,
Exactly.
so she's going a different way.
Everybody's always asking me if I'm going to be her bride.
Yeah.
The only kind of girl that I see is a one night or a wife, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that song, or at least those lyrics specifically, were meant to either throw us off the scent, as you said, or for her, like maybe it signaled this evolution in her thinking where it's like, yes, she has Reputation, she has Lover, where she has that profound, like the love between the two of them. And then she had a moment where she remembered, I'm Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I don't need to get married. It's okay. Everybody knows that this is my person. You know, it's like, get up. You know, like, I'm Taylor Swift. Can you imagine the prenup? Just all of that alone is going to take months and months of legal work to figure out, you know? Like, what is that going to look like? You know, this woman has more assets than almost anybody in the world that she's developed entirely out of her own hard work and prolific songwriting.
Right.
You know, like a lot of that, and an incredible team as well. But I mean, ultimately, I think the question is, did she have a moment where she stopped and said, wait a second, I am absolutely more in love than I've ever been. I know this is my person. Do I have to get married right now to prove it to anyone else? There's a lot on the line there.
Totally. And it's just making me think about if she feels just a tremendous amount of pressure with like everything she has to do in her life, like not that I think it has to be, but I think just the vibe is it has to be perfect with Easter eggs and thought and iconic. It's just so much. And it was making me think,
should your wedding belong to other people?
No.
I don't think so. I think something that you said about your own wedding that really stuck with me, that I loved, was when you talked about, one, exchanging your vows was the most present you've ever been in your entire life. And two, that entire part of the ceremony is really meant to be a celebration of, but also a peek inside life with you and your partner. It's not meant to be about Easter eggs for fan. It's really just a celebration of what's ultimately an act of creation.
And honestly, I think that's a good call out for me, because I literally feel like I put so much of me out there. I'm not comparing myself to others, but my vows I didn't put out. That's like that thing that I didn't put out, because I'm like, you know what? I don't want likes or dislikes on YouTube. I don't want anyone even commenting. I don't want anyone knowing what was said in this moment. We invited who we wanted to invite to our wedding, and that's our moment. And I feel like, although that's only one instance of me shielding my life to the public, I mean, it makes me better understand why Taylor would shield like all the things that she does, because to her, like, her entire relationship is that thing that she doesn't want people picking apart the way that they've picked apart all of her relationships prior to that. And on this note, I think a majority of people know this. They might not. It was before I was as watched online as I am now, but I got rep room, so I got to meet Taylor. Crazy freaking story, and there's so much to talk about here, and if you really want to do a deep dive, just scroll back down on my Instagram. But she literally said that the reason her comments are turned off on her Instagram is because she just couldn't deal with anymore, like, all of the opinions on her life. And even though her following is probably going to be majoritively positive, like it just goes to show like she doesn't have comments on, because that has to be so much. And I also wonder too, we see all these narratives about Taylor, but I'm sure she and her team in a way shield her. It's like a boundary.
Yes.
Like when I set a boundary even with family or friends on like, this is something I want to talk about, like she probably has to be like, I can't wake up and know what's trending every day like about me, you know. But what I was going to say about the pressure is like, I sometimes am like, whoa, in the thick of it there, when she had released Fearless Taylor's version, Red Taylor's version, Midnight's, like I even had a fan moment of overwhelming. Like, how am I going to memorize all these lyrics? How am I going to like properly digest? It's like overload. And then I'm not even the one creating the content, making sure it's all perfect. They have to plan it ahead of time. I mean, it is insane. Like, oh, another thing that I want to say on this podcast, because it's so important. Hot take. You see all these artists being like, when I write my songs, go click on the 3 dots on Spotify. It was written by 10 people and maybe them.
Spicy.
When you click on Taylor's songs, it is her and maybe one person, most of the time just her.
Yep.
But I feel like even like we see, I don't want to call out artists because I don't have anything negative for other artists, but like they'll be like, this album I wrote in a time when I was, I'm like, yeah, really? Then why is like
you and your producer
why are
and 10 other people?
Why are 7 people on every song? Like you didn't write it.
She is.
And I think people are
talent.
trying to create albums that are like, this album is about this time in my life. And I'm like, Taylor was the blueprint for that.
Yes.
No one was taking as much ownership and intentionality in their work before her. I really can't think of course there are amazing artists who wrote their own songs and did all that, but for her to pair the writing her own songs, the imagery, the graphics, the lyrics, the titles, the planning, the eras, like there's not another artist who every single album they comes out, they basically reinvent themselves.
Yes.
And it is always like top tier.
And also too, I think that's actually one of the reasons, now that you say it, that we have felt so close and aligned with her as we've grown up and as she's grown up, because she's just, for the most part, talking about and sharing with us what's going on in her life. And that's why it's always going to feel like, okay, this is either what Taylor is interested in talking about right now or what's going on in her life. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've been able to grow along with her and cultivate that closeness. Whereas a different artist might make an album, they're like, okay, so this is my retro sci-fi inspired album. It's not necessarily
them. So
it's
true.
a cool idea. It's a super cool concept. I love that. I love a concept album, but it is different from writing songs on your bedroom floor, because your heart is broken.
She is such literally an icon. Like people overuse the word icon, but
yeah,
she's such an icon.
She really is. She's stunning.
Okay, we're like sadly at time. Could literally keep going.
This podcast is gonna be 4 hours, right?
Yeah, I think we definitely need to do another one. Very, very last thing, the next album release.
Yeah.
Quick thoughts. I mean, everyone thinks it's Speak Now TV.
I know, and I really have no idea, because she's done such a good job of weaving the two together. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's the right color for that album. And then I'm like, squint, and then it's the other color.
I think
actually,
because she's not playing it at eras, that has to be the biggest, like,
right?
I mean, come on,
right? She's gonna give us Speak Now next, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Right. And she still has time to do the Speak Now music video, because with the new album can come new videos.
She's been so prolific, truly, in the last several years in particular. I wouldn't be surprised if we have another completely new original album by the end of next year. It really wouldn't shock me. She just delights in songwriting. I can see it,
Yeah, right. It's like she loves to do it. So she's like, why would I do this thing I love and not like put it out there?
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to have to come back.
This is like the tip of the iceberg.
We have literally so much to talk about. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you for listening. Yeah, let me know how much you loved it and if we need to do more, because we can do more.
Yeah, we do a lot more. Thanks so much for having me, Vic.
Of course, I'm so glad you came on. There's no one better to talk about this with.
My God, I really feel exactly the same. We talk about her so much. I'll like run into the room, or you'll burst into the room, into the studio, and be like, "Oh my God, we have to discuss."
We have a constant narrative going. Happy. Is there like a good lyric to end this episode with?
This is when I think it kind of speaks to a lot of the themes that we've hit on in this episode from Cruel Summer. If I bleed, you'll be the last to know.
Oh, that's spicy. And your love for Cruel Summer is hilarious. I feel like you would die for Cruel Summer.
I will drive through the night for that song. I will rise from the dead for that song.
It's a cruel summer with you.
Oh, did we just start a band?
That was both